Sometimes you gotta stay in, and you know where I live. Yeah, you know what we is. Sometimes you gotta stay in. Welcome to my house, baby, take control now. We can't even slow.
Hi YouTube, it's Baller Productions. Today I'm going to talk about the Assault class and how to do a little bit better at playing with it. I'm going to focus on talking about how to play with your team a little bit better, because Battlefield is a very team-oriented game, and it seems to me that whoever can dominate the team aspect of the game tends to do a little bit better in gameplay, both in terms of points and in terms of wins. Like I said, I'm going to hear some clips of me playing the Assault class with my friend DPyrac. He's going to make a channel relatively soon, and I play with him a good bit. He's also a very good Assault player as well. I don't claim to be that great at Assault. I prefer Engineer. But these are some tips that he gave me about Assault, and I'm going to share some of them with you guys. So first off, I think it's important to distinguish between the multiple types of Assault players that there are. On one hand, there's the very medic-oriented. They tend to focus on keeping their team alive. They typically carry around the med bag and the defibrillators, and I believe that most Assault players should kind of fit into that category. Because it's a skillful player, and it could be one of the most important players on the battlefield. The ability to be able to extend the length of a drive in terms of being able to revive your guys, keeping them alive longer, is just so imperative to being successful in this game. A lot of games are just determined by one or two pushes at the end. In a close game, the ability to hold a crucial C, like on Siege of Shanghai, after that tower falls and the game's close, being able to hold on to C for longer than the others is just the most important thing. And it's so important to be able to keep your teammates alive throughout these drives. Generally, it seems that the teams that are not very synergized, they don't do a lot of reviving, they don't tend to do it as successful on the battlefield. That's evidenced a lot with a team that has a lot of recon players. They tend not to as well. But that's a different story and entirely beside the point. So medics can be very crucial in keeping a game longer. They can make sure that the skilled players that are very good at gunfighting can stay alive longer. You can keep your engineers alive longer so they can take out more vehicles. And overall, they can just extend the game state and make the game last longer and be more in favor of your team. And then, so like I said, with this, there's two types of assaults. There's the medic, and then there's the other type, which is more of a run and gun style, more of a aggressive style of play. And that fits my friend a little bit better. He's more of an aggressive. He tends to get more kills than I do, but at the same time, that's equally important. I believe that there are significantly less players who should be playing the run and gun style than medic. I believe that the medic, I don't think there's enough good gunfighters in Battlefield that warrant enough people playing medic and Assault at the same time. We need a lot more medics than we do people that can just take out 30 guys, 50 kills. It's just not uncommon. It's not entirely rare to have that, but then again, it's not entirely common. So I think it's very important to have a fair balance. But the most important aspect in terms of Battlefield is just being able to play correctly with your team. Battlefield is so team-oriented, and you can really tell by looking at the way the points are broken down. For instance, if you're able to heal your team, for instance, a revive is equal to a kill if you fully charge it up. And then even more so, if you're able to heal your squad, which it gives you so many points, and it's just not in comparison to how much actually being a gunfighter is. Especially if you're not the most effective gunfighter, I would highly recommend that you look into exploring options such as being a strong medic or a different class entirely. But then again, with the medic, I believe that there's an important thing that a medic needs to be aware of, and that's his position in relationship to his team on the battlefield. He needs to be close enough to his guys' central push. I like to categorize it as a line. It seems like in Battlefield there's always this kind of line that's drawn, especially on maps like Operation Locker. I'd say that the line is much more pronounced on a map like Locker. Any type of break in a line can be very significant for a team. Often if you can break through the line initially at C, it's very difficult for the enemy team to keep you from capturing D or B. You can just rush all the way through, and the team's kind of in disarray, so it's difficult to defend properly. And part of being a medic is being able to keep that line alive significantly longer. For instance, you'll see very critical pushes that can be sustained solely because of a medic, because they're able to keep a game alive, and that line has to remain alive. For one instance, my friend and I, DPyrac again, we were playing a very, very close game in Operation Locker. I think we were down by 100 or so, and the other team was getting very close to 0, and we made a push to D. We were both playing Assault, and just the ability for both of us to be able to set up shop. He was able to he must have taken out 20, 30 guys on that final push. And then I was able to keep him alive. I was able to give him health, revive him, and revive other teammates. Because if we lost D, we lost the game. It was as simple and fundamental as that. D had to be held on to. And being able to be a good Assault player, for me, it was just the medic. It was just being a good medic, being strong in terms of being a strong medic, being vigilant in terms of teammates. I think the most annoying thing that people deal with on Battlefield 4 is the chat box. People will post need medic, and I think it's very important for a medic to pay attention to that chat box. If somebody's alerting, I try to do my best to find them and give them health if they're nearby. And another really important thing is just dropping health at critical points. If there's a big mass of guys that are pushing forward, it's generally wise to drop health. There could be an enemy that just gets 1 or 2 shots on them. 1 or 2 shots could be equal to 60 points. And you can't really push forward with only 60 points of health, or with only 40 points of health. So I think it's really important to be able to understand your positioning on the battlefield and make sure that your teammates know where you are as well. That being said, it's important not to get too far ahead of your team. There's kind of an area in Battlefield where you should be. There's the running gun assaults that go way on ahead and do a significant amount of killing. They often get pinned down, and they require, at least the subpar ones. I mean, some of them just do not get pinned down. So it's important for them to be able to push up, and they need to have a strong group of people behind them to make sure that, number one, they get health, and then number two, they have people to back them up in case they run into any kind of trouble. So that's really important for a medic. Generally speaking, I really don't see the need to run things like grenade launchers or anything. I think that it's just so important to have the health and to be and to work with your team that it kind of outweighs the benefit of having a grenade launcher in order to kill people. Granted, I know that there are players that are very good with the grenade launcher, and I'm not trying to discredit them, but for the sake of most people who play Battlefield, it's generally best to be a medic and focus on just helping out your teammates. And I promise you that if you take some of these tips to heart and try to apply them in your game, number one, you'll encounter more wins, or closer games. The games will end up being more shifted in your favor, or you'll get significantly higher scores by being a medic, which shouldn't be the chief concern, but I believe that a lot of people consider score per minute to be a very important measure of a way to consider someone's worth in Battlefield. I'm not sure if I'm 100% on that boat, but however you view it, it will improve your score. You'll get higher scores. You'll get more. I find that I get more kills with Assault whenever I play as a medic because I'm in the right positions to get relatively easy kills. A lot of times people will just kind of rush into the big line, and that's an easy kill if you have a weapon that can fire quickly. In terms of weapon choice for an Assault, I really think that it's best not to look at too close at stats. I think that people that look solely at stats end up leaving out some other factors, such as how well you are able to, how comfortable you feel with the weapon. So if you enjoy using a weapon that's not considered the best, like the ACE 23 or the M416, you should definitely use that weapon. I like the AEK. I know it's fairly commonly used, but if you like using the FAMAS, you should definitely invest in learning that. So I really don't think weapon choice is too particular. Same thing with knife, pistol, it's just all you. I think it's less about what weapon you use and more about how you use the weapon. There's no terrible guns in Battlefield, at least from my perspective. It's just how you use it, and like I said earlier, I feel like Battlefield is significantly less about how well you do in gunplay, and it's more about how you work together with a team. It's very different from Call of Duty, not saying it's inherently better than Call of Duty, but Call of Duty focuses more on, you have to have a very good gun, and you do a lot more gunfighting. All maps are kind of more pertinent to gunfighting. Battlefield is really not like that at all. So it's so important to note that in terms of selecting your class and how you play. Hopefully next week I'll have a video like this, but with the engineering class. So stay tuned for that. Subscribe if you would care to see it. I'll see you guys later. Bye.